Oh, the time I have wasted. Learning Japanese has been one of the hardest thing I've done in my life. And truthfully, I could have been so much further by now. Most beginners and even experienced learners fall for the same traps. So if you want to skip regret and actually make some progress in 2025, this is the video for you. Hello and ikimashou. Chapter 1. Throw away your textbook. You have probably heard it before. Textbooks are outdated. And honestly, I get it. A workbook isn't always the most effective way to learn a language. But that doesn't mean that they are useless. In fact, if you know how to use them the right way, you can actually speed up your progress tremendously. Especially in the early stages of language learning. So why do workbooks still matter in 2025? 1. They create order out of chaos. When you are just starting to learn Japanese, everything feels overwhelming. You don't know where to begin. And information is coming at you from every direction. A workbook gives structure and a clear path to follow when you're lost in all the noise. Number 2. They help you understand the why. You don't need to memorize every grammar rule perfectly. But when something doesn't make sense at all, a well-written explanation can lead you to that aha moment. I use a workbook to fall back on. When immersion gets confusing, flipping through and making exercises can bring great clarity. Number 3. Connect to others. Language learning can feel repetitive and lonely. But when you follow a popular course or textbook, chances are others are using it too. That means you can join communities, ask questions and share progress and learn together. Sometimes having someone to study with, even online, makes all the difference. Chapter number 3. Workbooks hold you back if used wrong. Now there is a big reason why traditional workbooks fail in today's society. They have not caught up with how language is being used in 2025. Let's be real, writing by hand used to be a big part of life. But now, most of us are typing everything on phones, on computers. And when it comes to Japanese, a language with 3 writing systems, that's a major shift. You've got hiragana, katakana, and of course, kanji. And kanji alone, over 10,000 different characters, many with multiple meanings and pronunciations. If you are trying to write everyone like it's 1985, good luck! And here's the truth, you don't need to be able to write every kanji to be fluent in Japanese. In fact, there's almost no reason to focus on that skill, unless you are prepping for school or for a specific job. When is the last time you wrote an actual letter? Exactly! Never! So my advice, skip the handwriting drills. Skip copying grammar sentences over and over again. Instead, learn the language through immersion. Then test if you have understood. The immersion method. Good, bad, or truth? One of the most popular methods right now is the immersion method. And for good reasons. If you are not familiar with it, it basically means surrounding yourself in your target language in everyday life. That could be reading a manga, watching anime with subtitles, or listening to a podcast and radio. Or in some extreme cases, moving to Japan and learning by force. Yeah, that's immersion too. And honestly, I love this method for one big reason only. It focuses on real life Japanese. Japanese you're gonna use. Not the stiff, robotic Japanese you learn in outdated textbooks. Like watashi no namae wa. Technically correct, but there is not another sentence that gives more gaijin energy than this one. Or, これはペンです. I mean, come on guys. However good, there is a big problem with true immersion. There is no structure, no clear milestones, no start and no end. And when you're learning something complex as Japanese, that can get overwhelming fast. Chapter 4, repeat, repeat, repeat. So how do you actually learn all these words, kanji and grammar points? The answer is simple, but powerful. That being repetition. And if there is one thing that you should take away from this video, it's this. Download an SRS. That stands for Spaced Repetition System, which is basically a fancy way of saying flashcards that repeat itself once you are starting to forget the words. I personally use Anki and I highly recommend it for everybody. And there are tons of free decks to find online tailored to the level that you're at. Whether you are a beginner and don't know hiragana yet, or someone who is already grinding towards that N1 level. It's way faster and more effective than writing the words over and over again. So stop filling notebooks and start reviewing smarter. But repetition doesn't stop there. I also recommend listening to music and podcasts. There are hundreds and hundreds of podcasts available from level N5 to N1. Reading manga once you're a bit more comfortable with reading the hiragana and katakana and maybe even some kanji. And start with the ones with basic vocabulary. I personally recommend Yotsubato. Talking with a Japanese, which is of course amazing if you're in Japan, but if you're not, then use an application like HelloTalk to talk with strangers in their target language. All of this layered with the right workbook and occasional grammar checks build a system where Japanese naturally sticks. And honestly, the more things that you do, whether that is, like I said, reading a book, listening to music, doing a podcast, if you vary in many things, then your brain will start to build pathways which help it stick better and better. So if I had to start all over again, this would be the roadmap. It's not perfect, but it's way better than what I did before. So if you're learning Japanese, drop your level down below and how you're studying Japanese. Let's keep growing together. This was Danny Japanese. Hope to see you next time.